Welcome everyone. I would like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional owners on the lands on which we live and work. For me, that is the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So, hi everyone. My name's Jessica Giaco. I'm the Industry Programs Manager at Screen Producers Australia, and I'm very excited today because today we have our Screen Forever 39th edition Bootcamp webinar. Fantastic. We launched the program today, which is also very exciting. So we'll get to that in a minute. But firstly, for those who are joining Screen Forever for the first time, who maybe don't know too much about what Screen Forever is, Screen Forever is the number one industry conference and market in Australia. It is the largest industry gathering in Australia. It takes place on the Gold Coast at the Star Event Centre on May the 6th to the 8th. We have a conference program which runs across the 3 days. And I'll get into that in a minute as well. And alongside the conference program, we have the Spa Connect Market, which is running as well. So people are there pitching, they're buying, they're networking, also hearing the latest intel, the latest news, what is going on in the industry, not just domestically, but internationally, which is a huge part of what Screen Forever is about. I'm very excited this year that we have our largest international delegation of attendees that we've had in years. It's definitely since pre-COVID. So that's very, very exciting. We just counted up, there's probably over 30 international delegates coming this year, which is fantastic. So the way it works is on day one, and I might actually just share my screen a little bit here while I do this. On day one, we have the main plenary, and let me bring it up here. Whoops. Let me just move this over a little bit. Going to go to the program here. So on day one of conference, everything happens in the event centre plenary, and from 1 p.m. We do have prior to that launch pad, which I'll hand over to Suzanne a little bit. She can talk you through that. But we have major events happening in day one, from the official opening through some major agenda setting conference sessions, all the way through to the opening night drinks. When you look at the program on the website, you can go in and add sessions to your agenda so you know what you want to attend as well. So you can see Tuesday, everything kicks off. On Wednesday, we expand out into multiple rooms with multiple sessions happening all across the program. So there's actually 4 rooms that will be running concurrently with sessions. As you can see here, you can see me looping here, 11:30 to 12:30. There are 4 sessions going at once. So you're spoiled for choice, which I think is actually a really fantastic thing. You have so much to choose from, you won't know what to do with yourself. So that's why it's really important to be prepared for Screen Forever. Let me just stop sharing there. So it's really important to be prepared for Screen Forever. It's important to know what your schedule is. It's important to know how you want to spend your time, how you want to get the most value out of your time. And do you want to be networking? Do you want to be attending sessions? Do you want to be hearing speakers? It's really important to look at all of that. We have a different ticket structure this year, which is actually really exciting. So there's a new way that you can purchase tickets. You can purchase the full gold pass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen once again. So this year you can see there are 3 different types of passes here. This is on the ticketing page. I went to the little 3 bars at the top and I clicked on the ticketing link. I'll just do that again. So here you can see you can become a SPA member and you get great discounts as a SPA member. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can see all the different types of badges and wristbands you can get. The 3-day Gold Coast badge gets you access to everything. So that means you get all of the sessions, Spark Connect bookings, Global Connect application, social events, awards and gala. You get the whole shebang with the Gold Coast badge. That is the highly recommended one because that way you can get the maximum out of every single opportunity at conference. We have the Industry Day badge as well this year. So the Industry Day badge, this gives you all conference sessions plus social events, including the Spa Awards and Gala. So that's fantastic. That doesn't include Spa Connect. It is the sessions and social events only. If you want to pitch in Spa Connect and take meetings in Spa Connect, you do need a Gold Coast badge. That is very important. Also, this year, I'm really excited about this one. We have the day wristband. So, the day wristband gives you access to the conference sessions only. So, that means that you can come along and you can just sit in panels all day. You can hear what is the latest Intel. You can get all the goss, you can get it all. So, that's with your day pass only. This is a really great one for first timers who just want to come and soak up the atmosphere, do some recon, sort of figure out what Screen Forever is all about. And it's also great if you're just coming to, if you do just want to come in and attend sessions, which I'm sure there are many, many of you that do. So you can purchase your day wristband here. Networking breaks, food and drinks. It doesn't give you access to social events though. If you want conference sessions plus the parties, you do need to purchase an industry day badge. So I think that's pretty, it's there's three different versions. Great, you've got so many options there. You've got no excuses. Okay, so program highlights. I mean, there is so much happening in the program. Today, we launched the bulk of the program, the bulk of sessions that are coming out. I've held back some really exciting because I can't drop everything at once. There's just too much good stuff. I don't want you to know it all yet. I want to keep some stuff back, So we will be sort of popping some like exciting new pieces along the way in the lead up to conference. We have some big names like coming in from overseas who will be doing keynotes and conversations. But what you can see on the website now are those really great sessions with the really gritty, meaty sessions, which you really should be in attending if you are a career producer or in particular, and if you're really interested in a pathway to your career as well as if you're already quite established on the way in your career. So I'm very excited this year that we have quite a lot around data and audience. So we've got a lot of sessions happening around that. A great one called Screen Time Savvy, where we look at how kids are watching, how kids are watching on digital platforms and what this means in terms of what kind of audience they are. We have a great one called Screen Wars, Trump versus global trade. That's going to be a very meaty session. I think that's quite self-descriptive. And we have a really new iteration of a game show that we have on the final day, which is called Red Light, Green Light. So that's going to be really fun. So that's where we have a established team of producers and writers who come together and they workshop a little idea on stage live. And then we'll have some buyers up there as well who are giving them live feedback and as they go. So it's a way of getting across the mandates while having a bit of fun and showing you how to pitch at the same time. There's so many great sessions for factual, unscripted, kids, feature film. We have quite a lot of feature film this year. We've got a session on indie TV. We've got a session on making a career sustainable as an indie producer. There's just a lot in there. So please have a look, have a really good look and see what trajectory you're taking in your career. And no doubt there will be something for you. In terms of social events, on day one, there is our opening night drinks, which everyone is invited to. Day two, we have our Gold Coast Mayor's Sunset Social on the lawn. And then day three is our Spa Awards and gala party, which is always a good time. So you can come all frocked up for that one, which will be great. And just looking in the chat box, I can see Brad has been dropping links. Has been busy dropping links in there. So you can see there's a subscription link, there's the program link, and the ticketing link. Thank you, Brad. Also, please, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and we'll get to those as we go along as well. Okay, also on the website, you can find all travel and accommodation. You just click on the travel and accommodation button, and we have our wonderful venue partners with TAG and our wonderful travel partners are on there who you can go through for all your travel needs. We have travel and accommodation deals with the Star and the Dorset. Fantastic rates there for accommodation, and you can get everything sorted out there that you need. Now I'd like to throw to someone very exciting who we have on board this year. We have the wonderful Stephanie Dower, who is joining us as our accessibility coordinator for the conference. Hi, Steph. Welcome.
Hello. Well, thank you very much. It's great to see so many people here.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, Steph, could you just tell us a little bit about your role with Screen Forever and what we need to know about accessibility at the conference this year?
Yeah, for sure. So, as the events accessibility coordinator, I'm really there to support any delegates or speakers that are attending that have access requirements that, in order to participate fully and get the most out of the event, they may have some extra things to consider. So, if you do have anything like that, I'm available to have a chat to. We can work out, how we can best support you. And also sometimes people just want a bit of a heads up about what to expect. As Jess has mentioned already, it's a big event. Like there's a lot of exciting things to explore, great program, lots of different things to get a lot of value out of. So sometimes people just want a bit of a heads up about what to expect. So I'm here to answer any questions. You can reach out to me. I actually do have my details on the website. I'll just share my screen quickly for you to show where that is. Share, there we go. Actually, just following on from Jess's point about travel and accommodation, you'll see if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see our accessibility information there. So it sort of talks about what accessibility considerations we've already made, but also my details for anyone, any delegates, any speakers that would like to discuss their specific access requirements with me one-on-one, or if they have any questions. Obviously, when you register for whatever pass you're registering for, you can share your access requirements through that. And if you do, you'll probably get an email from me just following up, just to be like, hey, if there's anything else further you want to discuss, I'm available. But yeah, either way, I'm here to be a wealth of knowledge. Hopefully, this will be I was trying to figure it out, my fourth Screen Forever, I think, this year. So yeah, feel free to shoot me an email or to reach out if that is something you're wanting to follow up on. I'll pass it back to Jess.
Thanks, Steph. You're actually a pro at the Screen Forever now.
I feel like I've become
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah. It's a fun time. I obviously I keep coming back for more, so
How has it changed? I'm just going to put you on the spot a little bit here. How has your
yeah.
experience changed from a first timer through to someone who's essentially a pro at it now?
Yeah, it's funny how it does change. Yeah, I remember my first year because I'd always heard about Screen Forever being like the kind of like the holy grail of like if you're a producer or like where you want to go, where you want to get to. And I remember talking to another well-established producer and they're like, it once you start, you just keep coming back to Screen Forever. If you're in the game, this is where you come. So for me, that first year, I thought, it was quite an overwhelming experience, but also quite an eye-opening experience. Like this is the industry. Everyone that you want to meet is here in person. So it was really, really exciting. Really, yeah, just a lot to take in. And I think my second year, or every year I've gone back, you start to feel more confident, more at home. And obviously you get to know the people a lot better, the team as well. So yeah, it's a very exciting place to be, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's very cool. We're always happy to have you, Steph. But that is actually also an important point is that how overwhelming it is at first. So, as much as you want to do absolutely everything, it's also good to make a bit of time to maybe just step away and have a break for a minute as well. Equally important amongst the
Yeah, I guess on that note, I will just mention, and you'll see it on
yeah.
the information on our website. For those, times when it does feel quite overwhelming, we will have a quiet space available on site. So you don't have to leave the action, but you can just sort of take a minute to decompress and collect your thoughts before going back out into the world. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Steph. Yeah, the quiet room is available there. You'll see it on the map there as well, or you can ask at registration if you need any time out as well. Okay, thank you so much, Steph.
Thank you.
All right, so now I'm going to invite our new Spark Connect manager, Suzanne Chambers. Suzanne,
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining
hi,
us.
welcome. Welcome aboard, Suzanne.
Yeah, well, happy to be here. We basically have a really exciting market coming up, and obviously we've restructured things a little bit too to to have better opportunities and matches with your buyers that I know all you guys want to meet. So what I'll do,
Yeah.
because there is a few initiatives, as part of the spa market. So I'll start with the first day, which is the Tuesday, the 6th of May. And I'll just go in that order. Also, more than happy. Michelle is also here as well. She runs the online global market. So basically, both of us are happy to also answer any questions during it. So if you do have questions, I can see people are asking already. But there is that Q&A box that you can click and you can put your questions in there, and then someone, maybe Jess or someone else, can yell at me when there's something that pops up and we can answer them.
I can do that.
So yeah, awesome. Thank you. So to start off with, so on the Tuesday morning, first up, and so this is really, really great for those who maybe it's their first or second time to conference. They really want to get the lay of the land, specifically how to navigate it, subtle hints, that's really specific to the Gold Coast on the ground. That is going to be taking place at 10 o'clock in the morning in the Marquee area. There will be lots of signs, so don't worry if you're like me and you're trying to work your way around things. So it's called Launchpad, and basically what it is, it's quite literally helping you launch into the whole market. The first hour will be conducted by Monica, who will just run through some, tips essentially, including like, how to survive, making sure you hydrate yourself, throat lozenges, keep your voice, um, and yeah, just how to make the most of getting those meetings that you want. Um, we'll then also have a speed networking session. So Launchpad will actually have, it's like about 30 companies from across Australia. So they're the service industry businesses in our industry. So for example, like the lawyers, the accountants, the post-production houses, the cash flow lenders, oh gosh, who else is there? Um, yeah, unit, all those essential services that you essentially need when you have your production. And so what you need to do if you're interested on the website under Launchpad, there is a register interest form that you can just put. So because of what we're doing, we can't accept every single person, obviously. But what we're wanting to do is obviously have, people who come there first, will get a chair at the table. And then every 5 minutes, you'll be able to rotate and go to the next table essentially and get to know all these really incredible businesses. So that's, as I said, really, really handy. There's also going to be part of that also to networking amongst delegates as well. So as you know, with conference, it's all about, relationships and touching bases and getting to know people. You never know who you meet, and form that connection that one day, it helps you with your projects. Um, with the following the Tuesday morning, that's when we go right into the opening of the program, which Jess has mentioned. But first of all, is there any questions about Launchpad at all at this point? If I don't see any, I'll keep going.
Not about Launchpad at this
Cool.
stage.
Okay. So the next day is Wednesday, the 7th of May. This is what you guys, I'm sure, are looking for. So this is when we have opportunities with all those buyers, distributors, and sales agents. All our international guests that are coming, they're also going to be taking part at this part. So this is our roundtables and our Ready Steady pitch. So the difference between the two, and I'll let you know first. So we actually have on Wednesday morning, the round tables first. And I think it's a really good way to actually get into the whole pitching thing because with round tables, there's no pressure to pitch. What it is that it's quite literally a round table with people, about 10 people around the table, and you actually get a chance to hear what the buyer or the business or the distributor is looking for. And also you get a chance to answer or ask them questions as well. So, and it's still a really good opportunity to meet them because remember, you also want to see if they're aligned with what you're looking for too with your project. And often at the end of the round table, they do give contact details as well. So if you find that you've missed out on the actual pitching sessions, which is the ready, steady pitch ones, the round tables are equally just as good. And you get to hear actually a lot more sometimes because they're longer times as well with those. So that's going to happen first thing on the Wednesday morning. So there are a few sessions. So there's ones that start at 9 o'clock. Then basically, an hour and after that, there's another session, and then there's another session after that. So there is opportunities to get in front of those buyers and to listen to them and get to meet them. And as I mentioned, they're not just domestic; they're also our, from overseas as well, which is really exciting. Um, then what's happening too is after in the afternoons, so you have a chance to obviously, I guess, freshen up with those pitching skills. This is when you guys will actually get to actually pitch one-on-one with the ready, steady pitch meetings. So they're 10-minute blocks each. And what you will get is 5 minutes. Normally, what we suggest, you have 5 minutes to introduce yourselves and talk about your project, and then 5 minutes, for feedback from that buyer or that host. Now, a few of you have probably noticed, and I know some of you guys have applied and submitted your projects. That this year, what we've done is we opened it earlier on before where delegates who have registered, they can actually submit up to 3 projects that they want to pitch at the market. And what we're doing is we're quite literally matching your projects with the buyer's preferences. So all the buyers have also done all their preferences in their forms too. And that's the process that we're going through at the moment and aligning them so that it's really productive for you guys and also for them as well. I see there's questions. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry. Janika, what time do you recommend arriving for Launchpad? If you get there 15 minutes before, that's fine. So the starts at 10, yeah. So aim for 9:45. That would be great.
Can I
Um,
just jump in there, Suzanne, as well? Is
yeah,
that,
yep,
is that I think our registration for the conference opens at 9. So you'll need to go and get your registration pass at the registration desk at the entry to the Star Event Centre before you can come in and line up for Launchpad. So I would suggest getting to the actual event centre probably around 9 a.m., get registered, get a coffee, and then get into the marquee around quarter to.
yeah, yeah. We're going to be giving everyone a little raffle ticket, when they get to Launchpad. So at least as long as you get that, you're in, right? And then you
Okay.
can, yeah, go get a coffee too if you want to, rather than lining up. But yeah, getting there early is a great idea. Because there's lots of people around. Um, in terms of, okay, Renee, question, can an attendee just grab a seat at the round table or they have to be booked prior? Yeah, so with round tables, so the part of our, I guess, matching process is that some of the spots will be able to book, like have book beforehand. When the actual general bookings open, that is, it's open for everybody. That's when then you can actually book your round tables. And just to be really, really clear, because we have 2 separate markets in a sense, we've got the online global market, which is all the overseas buyers who physically can't make it into, Screen Forever on the Gold Coast. We have that. And then we have the Gold Coast, like the domestic market, so to speak. So with the openings of these general bookings, the online global market actually opens online for bookings on the 1st of April. And that's at 12 o'clock Sydney time on the 1st of April. So what you need to do is basically log in online, go in, and then you'll be able to see all the availabilities for Roundtable. as well as Ready Steady Pitch as well. With
But
the
there,
Oh, sorry, go, Michelle.
just see some questions in the chat there or in the
Mm,
Q&A. Just to clarify, the opportunity to submit your three pictures to be matched with buyers has now passed. That closed a few weeks ago. There may be some Ready Steady Pitch meetings available on the day when bookings open on the 1st for the OGM and the 8th for Spark Connect, but we can't guarantee that at the moment. But all marketplace roundtables will be open.
yeah. So yeah, so basically the main thing is trying to obviously book your roundtables then when they open. 1st of April for online global, 8th of April for domestic Gold Coast. What I also find this as a hint as well is that, the market's busy. Some people also swap meetings or they're not able to attend a meeting on the actual day. What I used to do as a delegate is I used to go up to the Spark Connect desk in the marquee before a roundtable session, and I'd actually ask them, what do you have available left? Are there any free spots with this person or this person that I really wanted? Because you never know when people, swap and drop out. And that's a really good way of trying to get in if you've missed out. So we're more than happy to help with that as well. Just looking at the other questions. Where is the Oh, yeah, so the question is, where is the Ready Steady Pitch or roundtable in the timetable itself? That's back. So as I mentioned, when they open for everybody on the 1st of April and the 8th of April, that's when you'll be able to see all the sessions and all the booking slots available. And that's when you need to go in. Um, but generally speaking, the roundtables they will start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then the Ready Steady Pitch sessions they start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's two blocks, so one at 2 o'clock and then one at 4:15. So what's really important when you're looking at your schedules is going, okay, what programs, what panels you want to listen to, and when is the Ready Steady Pitch and roundtable sessions, just so that you don't overlap with what you're booking yourself into, so to speak. But when you log into your event hub online, you can, select, which ones you want to go to. So it's almost like you're forming your own calendar and program for yourselves. And then you'll also be able to see your own Ready Steady Pitch or roundtable bookings as well. And there is a thing on the back end that we have where it won't let you book something if you've already got something already booked, if that makes sense. It'll prevent you from double booking yourself as well, which is kind of handy. I'm just looking at the other questions. Will we know? Yes. So for the guys who did submit their projects in earlier, on the 28th of March, which is coming up, you will actually see on your Event Hub online when you register, you'll be able to see which ones you've actually been matched with. That goes for the domestic Gold Coast as well as the online global market as well, which is good because then you go, okay, I've already got these people. Who else do I want to see? So that when the general bookings open, you can then try to get other bookings with those guys as well. Um, and how long does, hold on, I'm just looking at the question. Yep. So Cecilia's question, yep. So they run for 10 minutes, each Ready Steady Pitch session. So in terms of how many 10-minute sessions you actually do, that it actually depends on the bookings that you do have. So on the 28th of March, you'll be able to see which pre-booked meetings you do have for those who've already submitted their projects. And then obviously when it opens generally, you'll be able to book others, and then you'll be able to know, if you've been successful with bookings or not. So those do come on a first come, first served basis. So you just have to remember that come 12 o'clock on the afternoon Sydney time on both those dates in April that you jump on online and book them. But it's all about preparation. Like really look on the website at the moment on the website under Ready Steady Pitch or roundtables, even production partnership forum. There is all the hosts and all the buyers that are coming. They're all on the website, and they've been really clear in terms of what they're looking for as well. So really do your research. Every time before Screen Forever, I would have my top 10 list, ranked in terms of who I want to see, and really make sure they're aligned with your project. The last thing that anyone wants is for you to turn up and you've made a booking with unscripted when you've got a scripted project. You know what I mean? It kind of wastes everyone's time and it's embarrassing, right? So really make sure you try to book the ones that are yeah, suited to you. Um, okay, I think I've answered that question. Oh, um, yeah, I don't think roundtables actually aren't on the program, right, Jess? Like on the official program. I think there's a question like they can't see the roundtables on the actual program itself.
Not on the program
I don't.
itself. So the when you click on the program, if you like, I can just share my screen quickly if you like, if that's okay, Suzanne. I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah,
show
do it,
you
do it.
very quickly. Um, so when you click on the little three dots up there on the right, so program is for conference program. So that's for sessions and speakers which are in the conference rooms. If you want to see roundtables and meetings, you have to go to Spark Connect. So you click on Spark Connect, you'll click on Spark Connect Market, hosts, briefs, you can see Launchpad, roundtables. This is where you'll find all of the information about the market. So you can see here, I've clicked on Marketplace Roundtables, and you can see here are all the hosts. And then if I want to meet with Kelrick Martin, for example, you can go in here and it'll be live from, was it the 1st of April, was it, Suzanne? That's when you can actually go in and book the roundtable.
Yeah, so 1st of
Yes.
April for the online global market,
Yes,
and
right.
then the 8th of April for the domestic Gold Coast. So,
Right. So 8th of
um,
April, you'll have a link here. You can go in and book a
yep,
roundtable and ready, steady, pitch. So I'll
yep.
just stop sharing my screen there. Back to you, Suzanne.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's cool. And okay, another question here. If you're successful in getting a meeting, can you have a writer join you? Yeah, look, I mean, you can probably know more than like two of you guys going to a pitch. That's what I would suggest, because obviously with the space for the tables. Um, but in terms of what pass they would need to purchase, it just depends on how long they're going to be there for. So there are day passes if your writer or your partner is only going to be there for a day, or they can, if they want to be there for the 3 days and have access to everything, then they just get the 3 day one. um but that's fine. As I said, like if you get a meeting and you want someone else to join you, yeah, that's fine, not a problem at all. um and another question, what happens if we aren't paired with anyone? We will actually do our best to to actually pair you guys with people as much as possible. We are about opportunity and having that having that opportunity to be able to have access to guys that normally you wouldn't, right? That's also part of it. So we will do our very best with that. Um, but at the same time, make the most of it. Like we'll have an app as well, Screen Forever app. And that is also where you'll be able to see the whole list of delegates that end up registering. And what I used to do is I used to message people, and go, hey, are you around? Can we have a meeting? There's nothing stopping you reaching out to others beforehand and try to make an appointment there as well. Um, Another question, should we have a visually developed pitch deck or is it just what we submitted? Have whatever you need that you feel that you want to present to that buyer at the time. If you want to have it on an iPad or your phone or print it out a deck to show during your pitch, go for it. Sometimes, what's also effective is just having that connection with that person, because it's about them seeing whether they like you or not at the same time, whether you like them and getting that vibe. And so you get a sense of, how you want to pitch that particular project and how you want to be remembered for. So if you've got a deck, great. I always come prepared. I always have my decks ready to go anyway, even though really, actually, I've never actually opened them at all in those ready steady pitch meetings ever. Yeah. Okay, I think I just answered that question about whether or not you bring a laptop for presentation. Again, it really depends and up to you. I mean, look, if you've got a finished project and you're wanting to, obviously have someone acquire your finished project, sure, if you have your laptop there with a trailer and you want to feel that you want to use that time for that, go for it. You'll also get a sense too of the buyer and in terms of what they want to listen to or what they feel like doing. Sometimes they might guide you. So a lot of it's just trusting your gut a little bit as well and going with it. Um,
Hey,
if we keep,
Suzanne, it is very buzzy in the marquee.
yeah,
So I probably would advise against showing anything with sound because the
mm,
quality will be diminished. So you're probably better off sharing it with them later if there's sound.
yeah,
That's my advice. I know with animation, it's lovely to have some, images and stuff, but and it's such a short amount of time and it is quite
it
buzzy and
is.
fast. So as Suzanne said, that connection is what's so important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, definitely. And then the last question here, with these meetings, are they project specific? So the guys, the question was, are the meetings project specific? With the guys who submitted their projects earlier, the buyers have picked your project because they liked what they read about your project. So it would be obviously a good idea and they're expecting that for you to pitch that particular project to them. However, always have a backup. You'll get a sense straight away if their eyes glaze over and they go, no, it's not for them. Then only then if there's something that's aligned, then if you've got something else, then you can try to pitch that one as well. Don't just make up seriously that because they'll know if you're pitching something and then you make up something else on the spot, they'll know it's half baked, right? I guess it won't, put your best foot forward. Um, but yeah, you can always do that. Sometimes I found that, the project that I wanted to pitch wasn't really aligned at all to what they would end up looking for. And we ended up just talking, connecting in a different way. And it ended up was great because they just said, okay, we'd love to work with you at some point. Here's my details. And, and then when something else comes down the track, you can approach them there. So that's what I mean about going with the flow a little bit but I guess the main thing is also take the pressure off as well. Um, I guess managing the expectation that you're not going to make a sale and go yes and get right there and then in 10 minutes. They want to get to know you and know more about the project, and often it's about the following up with whatever they've asked you. So they will ask you, yes, we want a copy of the script. We want to read this or this, right? Um, and then go from there. Okay, I'll keep. Oh, yeah. Hold on. So another question. Um, Identified as First Nations. Yes. Okay. Um, so no. So basically, with those who, like, for example, the question here with being First Nations, obviously with NITV and the various Indigenous departments, in terms of buyers, obviously they're looking for, First Nations led projects. But at the same time, that doesn't exclude anyone from being picked for any other buyer. It is really about the merit of your project. If your project's interesting and it's the right format, genre, and what they're looking for, they're not going to exclude from that at all. So yeah. Um, so yeah, we've talked about ready, steady, pitch about roundtables. Michelle, was there anything you wanted to mention specifically about online global market? Because that is happening actually 29th, that 30th of April. That's like earlier.
Yeah, so sorry, you caught me off guard there.
Sorry.
So yeah, no, I just had to drink of water. The online global market is this year running at the week before, as if you have attended before, you would know that it normally runs after, but Cannes is creeping up very closely to the end of our conference, our event. So we wanted to do the online global market before to ensure that we could get as many feature film buyers as possible involved in that market. So we're doing it the week before, which is great because you can practice your pictures online before you actually are in the market on the ground. So Tuesday, 29 April, Wednesday, 30 April. The very first meeting that you might get or the first roundtable you attend could be 8 a.m. in the morning, and the last meeting ends at 9 p.m. at night. Now, there is a big chunk of time in the middle of the day when no meetings happen because we are basically traveling around the world from the west coast of the USA, east coast USA, New Zealand, Singapore, Europe, Ireland, and then ending in the UK. And then there's a sort of a gap where we're not really aligned with that many countries for our meetings. So you may have an early start or a late finish on the 29th or the 30th. So the Ready Steady Pitch Global Ready Steady Pitch and the Global Marketplace Roundtables are running very similarly to the way they will run on the ground. A couple of differences. Obviously, they are online via Zoom. And also the Ready Steady Pitch meetings are 15 minutes. We found that with getting people into the Zoom and then move them into the breakout room, that we just lost a couple of minutes, and 10 minutes ended up being 7. So we've extended the Ready Steady Pitch meetings to 15. So you have a little bit longer on Ready Steady Pitch online global as opposed to the 10 in the actual marketplace on the ground. And then the marketplace roundtables are 30 minutes and they will run for, there's one per buyer, and they'll run for 30 minutes and they will have up to 15 delegates as opposed to 9 on the ground. So there's plenty of opportunity to get onto marketplace roundtables in the online global market. And it's a full 30 minutes of chat with buyers. We've got buyers from 46 different organizations. There's about 58 individual buyers in total, but 46 organizations. That includes feature film sales agents, international ROW TV distributors, and a sprinkling of commissioners as well. We've got kids, we've got factual, we've got obviously feature film, and we've got scripted. So there's a broad array of buyers. They are all buyers. Obviously, the Ready Steady Pitch meetings, as we've talked about, will already be pre-matched primarily. There may be a couple left on the day when the bookings open on the 1st of April. But if not, there will be plenty of spots for marketplace roundtables. So do log in. I think it's midday, Suzanne, on the 1st of April when the bookings open. And as I said, there is plenty of spots on the marketplace roundtables. And honestly, if I do find that they're filling up, we may even open some more spots, because being online, we have a lot more flexibility than trying to fit, a bunch of people in an actual physical space. So look, I think definitely do your research before. As Suzanne said, all the host profiles are going up on the website. Most of them are up. There'll be a few more to come, a few latecomers. So those sort of 58 buyers will be there. So do your research, figure out who you want to talk to at the marketplace roundtable, and have probably have your top, 5 or 6 that you really want to meet with. And we have caps. So is it 2 global roundtables per person, Suzanne?
It really depends at the moment, I think, in terms of what we're matching as well.
I'm talking
But
roundtables, sorry, marketplace roundtables.
for roundtables, yep, to start off with, yes. So yeah, so we obviously want to give everyone a fair go and be able to have those bookings with roundtables. So once that first round happens, there is actually going to be an opportunity down the track also that whatever meetings are left over at the end, then it's a kind of free reign for everybody, then you can go back in again and book any last minute ones if there's any there that you want as well. And there often is. So yeah.
Yeah, that will be following. So that'll be the 15th of April. So for 3 weeks in a row, the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, there will be bookings opening. So do diarise that, so you're standing by to jump in when they open, because they do book out fast. They're very popular. And I should say, if you don't get the meetings you want via the matching or via, just not getting on time, or not being able to get yourself a meeting, please do reach out to people that are attending via the delegate list and try and book your own meetings. I always say that a lot of other international meetings don't provide the luxury of Spa Connect. We're really blessed in this country, and I've utilised it many times. I've been to Spa probably 10 years in a row, 12 years in a row, and I always attended Ready Steady Pitch and the marketplace roundtables, and they're incredibly valuable. But do also reach out and book in your own one-on-one meetings. And I would suggest booking in a 20-minute slot with people, because 20 to 30 minutes, normally any more than that when you're at a busy market, is just too much. I mean, even if you book 20, quite often, at 30, quite often you'll end up having sort of that 20 minutes, which is enough, really, just to have that initial meet and greet. I think that's it in terms of the actual running of the day. You join your meetings through your event hub. It's all really simple. You just need your registration and click on your meeting at the time or 5 minutes before it starts, and you'll be sent into a Zoom waiting room, and there will be a moderator there that will welcome you and give you, tell you where things are at and where to move to, and then you'll get a warning to say that your Ready Steady Pitch meeting is coming to an end. you probably get two warnings actually, but I always say try and wrap it up yourself, because there's nothing worse than being in a meeting and you're in the middle of something, or you're trying to get that last thing in, and then the meeting will literally drop out because it's scheduled to end at that exact, that 15-minute block, at the end of that 15-minute block. So do try, and I always think wrap it up yourself 30 seconds before. It's a much better end to the meeting. Any questions on the online global market in there,
Uh,
Jess or Suzanne?
I think there were. Um,
There
Oh,
is.
I see one. Online Global Connect, a separate ticket to the domestic Gold Coast conference. No. If you have a full Gold Coast pass, you get Online Global Market as part of that.
yeah. And also just another question there too. If you're coming as a team, do both attendees need to book in for the roundtables? I mean, I'd make the most of it. I mean, if you go, every individual is entitled to make bookings through Spark Connect. So I would divide and conquer. If you have your preferred list, you try to get one person in your team to book these people first, and the other person to book the other ones. And so overall, as a team, hopefully you get all to the meetings with who you want. Good question, Nicoletta, about the portal. If you've submitted a few projects and you want to know which project does the buyer actually want you to pitch to, that is something we're just working on the back end in terms of notifications, whether or not you'll see it on your event hub, or we contact you and we actually say, this is, these are your meetings and this is actually the project that this particular buyer wants you to pitch to. So yes, you'll be either seeing that or we'll get in contact with you. Um, and then one last question. So moving on from the Wednesday, which is the roundtable and ready, steady pitch meetings, we go to Thursday. So on the Thursday, what we do have is the publisher pitch panel. So that happens first thing in the morning, and it's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. And what happens also with booking those, you will also see those online as well. So at the same time, when you register and go into your event hub, you'll be able to actually see the session times and availabilities for each of the publishers and the authors that are going to be there, and you can actually book one-on-one meetings with them as well. Um, so and in terms of, oh, hold on, where do they sign up their pitch stories? On the website, there is going to be actually details about the books that they're interested, in terms of optioning, and you'll be able to actually see more about obviously what their slate is essentially. Oh, and if you are an author, how do you register? That is something that, well, we do. I'm just thinking about timing in terms of whether we can accept any more authors. If you do want to actually email me about that, because we do have a team that looks after the publishers pitch market as well, and I'll just double check whether or not we can add any more authors onto that panel per se. I don't know if if you're able just to put my email on the chat. Yeah, that would be amazing. And then they can bring that up. But yeah, so that's what the publisher pitch is. You'll actually get to actually hear key publishers pitching what they have, and then you've got the meetings after that. Then in the afternoon on the Thursday, which is our last day, we have the production partnership forum. So that starts at 1:45 in the afternoon on the Thursday, the 8th. They are 15-minute slots, and what the production partnership forum is you've got the big guys, big production companies in our country as well as overseas. We do have a really large contingency this year from Canada. Really, really great production companies from over there coming, as well as other ones as well from New Zealand and things. So what happens with that is that they have also done the same thing. Delegates who submitted their projects and who are looking for co-production partners. They have also, told us what they're looking for, and we've also done some matching. So when you go online on the 28th of March, you'll be able to see also too if there's any production partners that want to listen to you and speak to you with your project. But on the 8th of April, when the general bookings open, that is when you guys will also get a chance to book meetings for the production partnership forum. And that's assuming, as I said, that you want to look for a co-production partner. But yeah, but on the website you'll see who they all are. So as I said, we've got quite a number of them. I think we've got now about over 30, 32 large production companies from across everywhere who are looking for co-production opportunities. Um, so yeah, so that's basically the market really in a nutshell and the different all the different facets. I'm just having a look to see if there's any other questions. Um, when will we be advising people? So yeah, so on the 28th of March, that's when you will see what projects have been matched with buyers. And will registration open the day before? You mean like booking. I think if you're looking at attending Screen Forever, we're accepting registrations right up until the day before of the conference, really. Um, but if you're really wanting to get bookings and meetings with buyers, you're better off registering before the 1st of April so that at least you can start booking and at least the online global market, and then the 8th of April for the domestic Gold Coast. Yeah.
Great. I think you've oh, one other one has just popped in
Hold on.
there.
If you've applied for it's all good. If you've applied for the Ready Steady Pitch previously, yes. So if you've applied for Ready Steady Pitch, then all the projects that you've submitted, if you're looking for a co-production partner, that automatically goes into that production partnership forum as well. And so and we do the matching for that too.
Great. Thank you so much, Suzanne.
Great.
So, and Suzanne will hang around. We've just got some special guests dropping in now, but if you do have any more questions that you think of, please put them in the Q&A. There will be a bit more time for some Q&A, just in about sort of 15, 20 minutes. But right now, I would like to invite in two of our special guests today. So we have Robbie Miles is joining us from Afters. Hi, Robbie. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Jess. Hi, everyone.
Hi. And we also have Tessa Mansfield Hung joining us today. Tessa.
Hey Jess, hey
Hi.
everyone. Lovely to see you.
So Tessa is a former one to watch. And I'm just going to hand it over these two to have a little chat about navigating Screen Forever. So I'll just pop off and let you, talk amongst yourselves.
Thanks.
So much, Jess. And
Hey
love to
Robbie.
meet you, Jessa. We've only ever had an email exchange before.
Yeah, and I think I was probably one of the anonymous participants in last year's boot camp, but
Oh, I see.
now here I am.
Look how far you've come. We had the wonderful Avon Yap who joined us last year. Um,
Yes.
so I'm head of industry and alumni engagement here at the Australian Film, Television, Radio School, a very, very proud supporter of SPA and Screen Forever. So glad to be here to have a chat with Tessa to help arm you all for, in some cases, your first experience, and some might be more than that, but to get the most out of Screen Forever. Um, so we do have some sort of questions, but we can be a bit loose and move around with things. And of course, please drop things in the Q&A, but you might find that we get to your question before you ask it. Um, so Tessa, moving straight into it, I'd love to know a little bit about what you did to prepare for your first Screen Forever and what of that was the most valuable once you actually were on the ground.
Yeah, I prepared a lot. I think because that's just my personality. I'm very sort of anxious. I guess I like to be very prepared. And when I'm going into something for the first time, that's probably the most stressful for me because I don't know what I'm going to be up against. And for me, my projects, I had sort of three feature films and they were very early stage. So the prep was really almost part of development of those projects. It was sort of just getting myself very familiar with them so that I could speak about them in a more natural and casual way, which is difficult when you're early in a project because you're getting to know it. So trying to talk about something like you know it really well when you are getting to know it is difficult. So that prep really included, lots of conversations with my creatives, the writers, directors, and just going over and over things. And that's just like really getting it deep into my psyche. So if, if someone's just asking like, what's the film, you can kind of just find those keywords and trying to summarize, the concept in a really simple and short way without having to, go through the plot beat by beat, because I think when you're trying to just sort of recite a synopsis, one, it's super boring. It's like getting verbal directions somewhere and people just don't engage. So it really was about like, what are the key words? How do I position this project in the market and what it is, using words only in like the most efficient, effective time. The prep also included just practice. That was with like other people in ones to watch, and then also sort of friends and family, people outside of the industry that might not have the same sort of lingo. Like, how can they understand it? And looking for verbal cues, like what was the line that I said that made them click where they got it, and they're like, oh, cool. Um, I also wrote out profiles for each project that sort of had like who were the key sort of partners that would work really well for this project and that project. I had rough budget figures in mind, even though, they were early stage. I think my mentor, who was Lisa Shaughnessy, she said it's good just to have an idea, even though it's rough, they're going to ask like, okay, well, what's the budget? And if you don't know, even if it's rough, just 3 million Australian. Another key thing to do, I'd say, is to work out the US dollar value. There's a lot of the
Mm.
um, market people there, they don't work with Australian dollars. So having that, and also having a rough timeline, if someone's interested and they ask, just like, what's the budget looking like, or when's the script going to be ready? Just having rough answers, obviously is better than having no answer. And even if it's just completely a guess, that's always good. It could be like, it's going to be Q4 of this year and ideally in production by Q3 of next year, something like that. Um, yeah, I think I wrote down some notes so I could remember what I actually did. Oh, another thing that I did, which I think is something I'd really recommend, is just some self-reflection on yourself and why you personally, you know, are pushing these projects. Why are you pitching? What attracted you? Because as a producer or a creative, that's the first yes on an idea. So that's going to be the real personal and passionate thing that you can talk about, and that's what people really respond to. If you're excited about something, why? And lead with that, because that's what people really connect with, and that's what I found in those pitch meetings.
I think that's such an amazing point that, what is it that made you fall in love with it? Because there's nothing that exists anywhere, film and television wise, that doesn't exist because at some point a producer was like, I reckon someone's going to want to see that. And so the power you have just by where you put your energy is really important. And also, I'd love to dig into what you said about the development process, this actually being a bit of market testing and, it
Mm,
helps you understand the idea the more places you pitch it and what people respond to. And so that response to market interest and how you translate that to your writers and creatives is really important because what other people are hearing might not be the intention. And so you might want to shrink that gap somehow, or it leads the project to an audience that you hadn't actually intended as well.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of my projects, we were sort of leading with it being this true crime sort of drama. And the second I said drama at Screen Forever, people sort of went, and turned. And this film also had a lot of psychological thriller. It's very much that. So I actually pitched it again at Myth 37 South, and I said it's, a psychological thriller based on a true crime. And the response was wildly different. And that came directly from, pitching at Screen Forever. And I was also very honest and open. I think if you're I said in the meetings, look, I'm soft pitching. These are early scripts. They're early stage. So I'm really here just to get market intel and get feedback from you, so that, it can inform the next steps of the strategy of the project. And I think that invites them to engage in the pitch, then they're really thinking about what you're saying, and then they're going to say, okay, well, what you said there, that's really interesting, but here I think this would be tricky, and you're just going to get like the most valuable information from those pitch meetings, because I wasn't necessarily looking for money. I was looking for information, and I think that's as often just as important.
So valuable, and it's much easier to get information out of someone than it is to get money out of them. That takes a really long time, whereas going in with that soft ask, or soft pitch, uh, encourages them to like you and
Mm,
want to be the next thing that you, and they're somewhat invested in your success, because generally you'll find people do want to help if they can, but it might not be the right thing for them at the time. And also, I'm interested in what you said about initially pitching it as a drama, and based on that response, knowing that you're getting more out of a psychological thriller. I think it is so important to be upfront and honest about what it is and where it's at, rather
mm,
than trying to hype something up too much, because what it is and where it's at might be the exact right thing for that person you're talking to, versus someone who responds to the quality of what you have, but says it's just not for us. But I'd like to hear the next thing that you do.
mm.
If you want the objection, I would say to always be based on taste, not quality. And if it's not for them, they'll still want to get an email from you because they enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like it really is, and it's part of the self-reflection, is like where are you at and where are your projects at, and like kind of being kind of a bit targeted with what you're seeking from these meetings. For me, it was very much about relationships and meeting people and making an impression. So I often I found the 10-minute ready steady pitch meetings really, really hard to get anything about any project significantly in that time. So I really focused on talking about me and the sort of the slate of projects that I'm working on as a whole, and more talked about, what I'm wanting to achieve, the sort of like wider aspirations, people I want to work with. And that was kind of part of the pitch. I'm interested in meeting you, and finding the people that might be right for me and for the projects. And it end up people pitching me in return of like talking about how they work, how they come on board projects. You know, I would think of case studies of like recent films that they did, and like how did that work? And when did you come on board at what stage? Sometimes it's I think it's good to ask questions before you just dive into talking at someone, because that will really inform what you end up leading with. And it also gives you time to think. You might start hard pitching someone, and then they go, "We're really only come on board projects like once it's completed, but your project's at script stage." So now you've just sort of spent your whole 8 minutes of pitching, sort of going hard on something that really isn't going to be able to get the momentum that you're looking for. And momentum's another really good thing, because, like, when someone really likes something and they think it's ready to go and maybe it's not, they're wanting things straight away. Like, when's the script going to be ready? Can I receive it? So you do kind of want to be honest of like, this is when the materials would be ready. Are you interested in receiving them when they are? And then just keep the conversation going.
Definitely. And I think that's a great point for everyone to reflect on as well, is that asking questions is really important, because getting to know what they're interested in, what they might want, and no one knows exactly what they want until they see the thing. In a lot of cases, they might have a general idea.
Mm,
We're looking for a contained thriller in the 3 to 5 million range, etc. That's what fits on our slate. But the more you can do to actually make friends and engage with people, and understand what they're looking for. I think actors are particularly good at this, and producers are really good at it too. Is oh, well, the thing I've got isn't for you, but you should meet my friend Tessa. Uh,
mm.
and, connecting dots in that way. So thinking about how you can help other people, or things that you've heard that might help you connect someone else to a third party that they might not have had a chance to meet. Um, Especially on that momentum thing, I think this is somewhat related, because getting those yeses can be very intoxicating, and then moving to the next stage. Um, when you said that the producer is the first yes on a project,
Mm,
um, and being able to talk passionately about your team, I think is good. So really, as you're approaching Screen Forever, knowing why you care about the things you care about, but also from a self-care point of view, you mentioned in some notes that we shared, um, when do you perform better in a day? you know,
Mm.
because this is can be a hugely overwhelming thing. You will see people who will park at the cafe in the lobby and they will be there all day, and that the real estate is pretty jealously guarded.
Yeah.
Um, and knowing when do you need to refuel, putting in
Mm.
like where are the closest bathrooms, where can you easily take a break? It's very hard not only to get someone to listen to a pitch if they need to pee, but also you trying to pitch while you've got that hunger rumbling going on. So what was your sort of schedule like throughout a day? How did you manage that, and where did you screw up on that, and where did you wish you'd done something differently?
Um, I'm pretty good at being aware of like how I best work. And, as much as your phone and your laptop needs charging and you bring your charger to the convention, so do you. So I'm not a really good early morning person. It's just not, I've never been. I'm much more of that afternoon and evening. So I typically avoided booking meetings super early in the morning because that's usually when I'm quite spacey. Um, Me and a few other people in Ones to Watch, we actually set a bit of a ritual where we would go to the beach and we'd have like a really quick swim in the morning. And that just was like a nice thing to do to start the day. You're popping the bubble, you're not going, getting ready and going straight into that environment. You're kind of, just getting nice and grounded and you just feel really relaxed and, you stroll into the conference and feel good. Um, I also looked at my days of like kind of what the focus was. I think from the advice that I got being my first time, I didn't try and do everything. I didn't do all the different strands. I really was like, I just want to meet people. So I was focusing on meetings, and that was in the pitches, that was in roundtables, and then that was in, meetings, booking meetings outside of the program. So I didn't see a lot of the panels just because I was often chatting. So I really tried to just be like, this is the focus. And then the other way I looked at sort of the week was I like to warm up into something and get familiar. I feel more comfortable. And when I'm relaxed, I'm more confident. And then I come across better, in those interactions. The first day it's pretty nerve-wracking. It's also like if you've got any sort of auditory sensitivity, it's very loud. So I would also often need to like go away into a quiet space just to sort of get some of those sensory elements down. And I put more of my like more high priority or high stakes meetings that I really cared about in the middle of the week. So my first day, I was sort of, some pitches that, I kind of was like, this is good to do, but I don't think it's gonna like pay off maybe in like that dream way. But it'll be a good way for me to warm up and practice because you will be rusty. It does take a bit of time to get into a rhythm. And then by that point in the middle day, that's when I had quite a few meetings sort of throughout the day. Um, by the last day, I was over it. I was so over it. I'd been saying the same thing over and over again. And when I was in meetings, I became aware and I was out of my body, hearing myself pitch the same thing I'd been saying. And I felt like, I was in a shop where you just sort of say, hey, going, yep, that'll be, have a good day. And you're flat and the delivery is flat. You're not engaged with what you're saying. You're bored. So they're bored. Um, so I would think about that in terms of stamina, not just in the day, but across the board. Like you be aware of pitch fatigue, of saying the sort of same things over and over again, and then notice it so you can go, okay, how can I switch this up? And maybe don't put, heaps of important meetings first up or, at the very end of the convention when you're going to be, ready to sort of go get a drink and the champagne and celebrate at the end. Because I did find myself quite tired and kind of sick of talking and saying the same things over and over and over again. So probably that was where maybe the last day that I kind of stuffed up because I had meetings and they were quite spaced out. So I had one in the morning and they'd be 8 hours, and I had one later. So I was never actually able to get into a bit of a rhythm. So it's another thing to sort of think about, as best you can. Sometimes you don't have much of a choice, but it again, it really it depends on the person. It depends like how do you work best, um, and definitely take breaks and get out of the building got to pop the bubble because I think we get swept up in, this thing and, call your friend that has nothing to do with film and just have a normal conversation that's not talking about films and projects in the industry. It'll just keep your sanity in check.
You can't recommend that highly enough. I remember years ago being at a networking event and someone said, "Oh, you don't want to talk to me. I'm just here with my husband. I'm a physiotherapist." I was like, "You are automatically the most interesting person in the room. Please tell me about that." I would like to know more about that. It's also, I love what you said about that kind of almost fruit-like cycle where it sort of ripens and you're in the zone.
Mm,
It can start rotting a little bit if you don't carefully reframe. Highly recommend everyone be wary of if you do get an autopilot, how to shake yourself out of that. And something else that you mentioned, I love, is like not treating it like a do or die moment.
mm.
Say you meet that person, you're like, oh my God, that's the person I want to pitch it to, and I never thought I'd get into an elevator with them. It's like do everything in your power not to just vomit your pitch at them. Try and ask that question. And it's not about getting your business card in their pocket. It's about kicking off, hopefully, a lifelong relationship in some way. Because there are people who, I've met at conferences, and it might be 10 years. And yes, we'd like to work together at some point. And when I reach out to them, they'll respond to an email, but we haven't found that thing yet. But it'll be all the better for it because of the longevity of that relationship, not based on like, let me just please shove this thing in your pocket.
Absolutely. I mean, that was another sort of strategy of mine, was not necessarily, hard pitching projects, but was more like as much as relationship building and meeting people it was introducing myself and pitching myself. And I say pitching loosely. It was just like again, self-reflection. Why do you have friends? Why do people like you? What do people connect with you on? And lean into those strengths. Don't try and project a version of what you think they want to see, but just, being really comfortable and confident in yourself so that they can connect with you. I don't know about you, but I remember people more than ideas or projects. So one of my best ready steady pitch meetings, I didn't pitch a project at all. I didn't even talk about it. We just had a really lovely conversation. We were aligned on a lot of values, and that led to, oh, well, let's book a meeting outside of this. And we had an hour and a half meeting after that. And then now we catch up on Zooms regularly. We haven't, got a project yet, but that's exactly what I was looking for from Screen Forever, is to build connections for an ongoing relationship. I think if you're putting these meetings in this sort of gladiator do or die, there's so much pressure to put on yourself.
Yeah, like this is what's
Um,
standing in between me and my dreams.
Exactly. And like, look, there were pictures where it went great and I do the same thing the next time and it was not great. And it's fine. I'm still here and the projects will continue. And we would just laugh about them. And you're also like, maybe that's not the person that's meant for the project. And maybe we're not allowed. That's fine. So as much as like, you're wanting to get something out of the person that you're sitting across of, you're also wanting to find out for yourself, like, is this right? For me, is this right for the project? You sort of don't feel like you have nothing to offer and that you're more of a Oliver Twist begging. You're also trying to work out like what you're looking for. And yeah, just having a bit of perspective, because I think if you put so much importance on 10 minutes interaction, it'll eat you up. So uh, yeah, just be gentle.
I'm
That's
just
great,
gonna
guys. I think Jess is going to jump in because how are we doing on time, Jess?
I am. Yeah, we're getting there with time, but I do have a couple questions that have come in, which I might actually put to you both as well here. So maybe Tessa, this one for you. Are physical business cards still useful, or is there something more soft or online QR based that people have? Do you use a business card?
I did have business cards, and it's not because I expected people to put me in their speed dial, but it was more thinking of the act of me going, oh, here's my card, as a way of inviting them to give me theirs.
Mm.
Um, so it was, a less awkward way, but can I have your business card? It was more about that action. And every time I'd pull out the business card, it would indicate to them like, oh, here's mine. Look, most people are they have them on the table. They're ready. A lot of them give it to you before you even start speaking. So generally it's not that hard to get information. Other people did have QR codes. I personally didn't want to do that because I found the sort of trying to focus on the thing a bit awkward. What I found recently at other markets and in international is they just do the phone where they sort of put your phone up
Oh,
against
yeah.
their phone and
Yeah.
then it'll auto, which is also super handy. What I'd recommend for that is updating your contact information in your phone so it's got a photo so they remember who that person is and your role and what you're doing and whatever. But yeah, I did like the business card and I had photos that I had taken on it, which was a nice sort of icebreaker. I was like, here's my business card, and also the photo on it is one that I took.
Mm.
Actually, one of my pitch meetings got eaten up because the
We're
person
talking
couldn't
about the
decide
photo.
which one they wanted because there were different photos.
That's
So that
great.
one backfired a little bit, maybe.
I do remember someone told me that because your registration pass on your lanyard has your name and your business on it. So I know someone who just goes around taking photos of everyone's lanyard when
Mm.
they meet them. So, and then of the person, so they remember who the person is as well if they don't get their business card. Well, look, thank you so much, both of you. That has been really helpful. We've got some feedback in there saying how this has been really superb information. So, look, thank you so much. Invaluable. Really appreciate both of your time.
Pleasure. And
Thank you.
good luck, everyone. Wish you all the best.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Tessa.
and
Thanks, Robbie.
if anyone is feeling sort of lonely or awkward or feels like, oh God, I don't know how to introduce myself to that person, I'll be there all 3 days and very happy to drag you over there and introduce you. So feel free
Amazing.
to come find me.
That is amazing. And that actually goes really well with a question that we have here. Um, are ready steady pitch and roundtables for more experienced persons with credits? As a first timer who doesn't really know anyone, regional, is it best to just go to program events with a wristband event only day pass? Therefore, maybe best not to go to social events as a total loner. So, to the person asking this question, who is anonymous, I would think as a first time, you really do want to go and get the lay of the land, but I would suggest coming and getting social events on your wrist pass because then you can approach people like me or like Robbie, as he said, Tessa, Suzanne, Michelle. If you see any of us around, we can certainly introduce you to people. But also come to Launchpad on day one because that'll give you some really great networking tips on how to approach people and how to just talk to people. This is a networking event. Everyone there is wanting to meet people. That's what it's about. They're all there trying to find their people to work with, to connect with for projects, to find who is aligned with what they're looking for. So this is really the place to do it if you don't know anyone. So don't worry about that. But also maybe great to come and just experience the sessions, soak up the atmosphere and social events before you dip your toe into pitching if you're not quite ready to do that at
Can
this
I
time.
say, can I say just that
Yeah.
you won't be the only loner there. There's plenty of other loners,
Yeah.
and you're not a loner. But the social events are also a really great way to casually practice your pitch, and you don't know who you're going to meet at those social events who might introduce you to the person that you didn't get a meeting with, and vice versa. So, uh, don't stress. Definitely go to the social events. They're very helpful.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Tessa. All
Oh,
right. So, any final questions? We do have Suzanne and Michelle still here. If there were any other market questions to come in, we have a few minutes left. Otherwise, just while we're seeing if any further questions come through, screen forever. Oh, Michelle has her hand up. Michelle.
I was just going to add to what you said, Jess, for the person who thought pitching might not be the best idea, which I agree if it's your first time. But at Spark Connect, the marketplace roundtables are such a great way to learn about what buyers are looking for, how you interact with them. It's an informal environment. You can ask questions. No question's a dumb question at a marketplace roundtable. So I think, if you do end up booking the full gold pass, try and get a few of those marketplace roundtables in, both on the ground and in the online global market.
Thanks, Michelle. Sarah at the bottom of the screen, can we get everyone's emails who spoke today? Sarah, we might not have time to pop everyone's emails up, but what I would suggest is email info@screenproducers.org.au and we can pass you on to whoever you need to whoever you would like to speak to, or we can provide you with everyone's emails. That is absolutely fine. So if no more questions, thank you to everyone who joined today. Thank you to our panelists, to Robbie, to Tessa, to the wonderful Michelle and Suzanne. Thank you so much. The market is looking incredible this year, both the OGM and the domestic market. Fantastic. Please get in there and pitch away. To Brad and B, who've been supporting the way through this webinar today, thank you. This webinar will be posted up. The recording of this webinar will be made live after this as well. And Brad has just popped in a note in to get to the Screen Rights Breakfast. Great reminder. Thank you, Brad. The Screen Rights Networking Breakfast, which takes place on the Wednesday, day two of conference, the 7th of May. It takes place from 7:45 to 8:45 a.m. And that is a great way to come and network with people. Great reminder. Thanks, Brad. If you don't know anyone, come and make some friends there. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And we will see you all on the GC in May. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.